Hello to this Instagram live here today. I'm here with Laszlo.
Hello, everybody.
And we're going to talk today about healing and how to end up suffering emotionally, mentally, physically. And it's time to heal you from the inside out. And I have a very amazing man sitting next to me that has a huge impact on my personal healing journey. And Laszlo, can you introduce yourself for a second so people know what's up?
Yeah, of course I will. Hi, everybody. Fan base of Francie. Nice to meet you all. My name is Laszlo, and currently also like Francie in Tulum. But I'm also she's from Germany. I'm from Holland, born in Holland, but with Hungarian parents. And we met here in Tulum, and we connected on certain topics. We had a lot of friends in common, and Francie was like, "Hey, why don't we do a live for you guys?" Because we exchanged a lot of information about certain things, especially regarding health, because she went through a lot of turmoil the past months. So and so did I a couple years ago. So now we are here to share our story with you.
Yes.
Basically.
Thank you. So for everybody who's listening, from Laszlo, I'm Francie. I'm from Germany, business coach and freedom mentor, traveling the world since 8 years. And it has been a crazy journey so far. But some of you guys know already that I went through a very tough time in the beginning of the year, struggling with health issues, struggling with emotional issues as well. So I went very deep into darkness, I can say. And it was a tough time. You maybe catch your story after as well, because you went through a very painful time as well. And we're going to share a little bit what exactly happened, how we went out of this, and what you can do to heal yourself as well, because that's why we do this actually here today.
Yeah.
And so first of all, maybe guys, if you have any questions, write it in the comments. Don't worry, we will answer whatever you want to know. We're very free-spirited and open-minded people, so we just say our truth. Maybe sometimes people have problems to speak their truth, but we are very direct and we don't want to hide anything. So that's it basically. Do you want to talk about how your health journey started? Because it went very shit for you as well, right?
Yeah, well, first I would like to give the viewers a little bit of taste of what I've been doing in my life, so they understand the whole process, because I do believe that physical health, depends on your mental health, so your mental state of being. And born in Holland, after finishing my university, I went to work for an insurance company, as you guys may know, 9-to-5 job, office job. So it's kind of a cliche, but I noticed already at a younger age, like this is not really what I want to do for the rest of my life. But then again, you have to experience this, and I worked there for like 1.5 years. Okay, I really have to find out something for myself, because this would kill me, like the routine. And I do not believe that much that we as human beings are made for routine, to do the whole thing every day for 65 or 40 years of our lives. So I was very blessed that I had the opportunity to meet a photographer. We did some test shoots, and then I rolled into the fashion industry. First part-time, so I was working at the insurance company, but also doing part-time jobs. And it worked out pretty well, but mostly on national level, just in Holland. And financially, of course, these jobs, they sometimes could pay really good. And I started to make a calculation like, wow, I can make you one day this amount of money, and with this 9-to-5 job, it will take me 2 months to make the same. So I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. So I gave it a couple months, and very soon after, I took the decision, and I told myself, okay, it's time to leave. And the thing is as well, I have 2 parents, thank God, still together, living in Holland. I don't have brothers and sisters, and my whole family lives in Hungary. So for me, it was actually, it was not easy to leave my parents, but on the other hand, it was easier for me to go abroad because I had also my own turmoils and things that I was going through. So I saw it at that moment a little bit like an adventure and a little escape. So yeah, I talked to my agent and I said, okay, what are we gonna do? And he said, like, well, you have to go to Paris, Milan, London, New York, etc.
So you were a very well booked model. Like
Well,
a dream everybody could think of, right?
Well,
From the outside.
in the beginning, you have to work on your career. You have to work on your portfolio. So you break even at the beginning. It's not like, hey, I go out there and everything. But yeah, I have to tell you, like, this was like in 2007, right? So modeling was not that hyped in the mainstream media yet, right? So you had, and Instagram was not that hyped as well. So you had way more possibilities. But then again, in the first year, you break even and then you travel. So you go to all the places in Europe, you go abroad, you go to China, you go to Japan, you go to New York. And what happens is you really think out of the box, right? You're most of the time by yourself. So I always encourage people, go travel, but not always, not always with friends, right? So we used to go like, we want to feel safe. Yeah, I want to bring my girlfriend. I want to be my best friend because we go to Mykonos or Ibiza. I would say, no, go to Thailand, backpacking, Chiang Mai or South America. Why? Because you're testing yourself continuously. You have to find accommodation. You have to get a visa. You have to find places where you're going to eat. You have to survive with the money that you have. You have to be open. You have to socialize with people. So your social skills are getting tested. There are a lot of things that traveling and going into the unknown can give you. So, but I think a lot of people already know this, but just to
like my audience is well known in traveling, going abroad, and leading a free spirited lifestyle. So thank you guys for following me so long already, and yeah, like getting kind of in my footsteps and yeah, sending me pictures from anywhere in the world and living this beautiful, even tax-free life. So congrats to that for everybody who made that happen for themselves. And yeah, so we both had kind of the same story. You with the modeling, but we with the business. So I was traveling, you were traveling. So we had like actually from the outer perspective looking great life and was also like funny and whatever. We experienced a lot. But then something happened. So tell us what was the problem.
So to finish up the story is I was doing modeling for 15 years. And then after the 15 year, I was like, okay, I really need to do something else. Really challenge myself intellectually. I love to be creative. I love to work, still do, when I do my jobs, to do something creative. But I wanted to do something deeper than that. And I have to notice that I have to mention that throughout those years, I always had like these little symptoms, like weird things. I used to have always migraines. So migraines were very frequent. I used to have, like you, muscle spasms.
For everybody who doesn't know what that is, maybe to translate it quick in German, it's like Muskelzuckungen. You have these very crazy sensations where your body is moving, and that's what I experienced in the last weeks as well.
Yeah. Like all these weird symptoms, right? That when you go to doctor and you're going to do an MRI, they're going to tell you like everything is fine. You cannot find anything.
Yeah, it's just mentally like take antidepressiva or whatever. That's what they taught to me. Yeah. And it was hilarious, but yeah.
So you're ending up, but you always recover, right? So you're occupied. And problem with me was like one day I got tinnitus, like this ear ringing, and it stayed for like 3 months.
Like this little ding in the ear. Oh my God.
It was very loud. I couldn't even go and socialize anymore. So I was stuck in my place trying to find cures and everything. I couldn't find the right cure. I had to go to Düsseldorf to do therapy, or I had to go to the north of Holland to cut I don't know how you say the nerve that is in the ear. With the risk that you got, then you get that, how you say death, but at the same time, you might not hear the beep anymore, but hey, nobody wants to be deaf, So what happened is I went to China. I got some Chinese medicine, and I got some tea, herbal tea, and in 3 days it was gone. So something that was there for 3 months, it was gone. So I was highly interested in everything that was alternative. Okay, so
like natural ways of
yes,
healing,
yes,
and
the
not
natural way.
not the typical way going to a doctor, having
Yeah,
symptoms and getting cured by like
yeah.
medicine.
I don't want to say too much about it because then we want this video to maintain live or maintain.
But you can already imagine
Yeah.
what we would like to say right now. And you guys know already how I think about pharma industry and stuff like that. That's nothing new.
So I overcame this, and but then you end up in a gap. So I knew I had to switch, but I didn't know where to go, what to do, where to live. Right. So I was always traveling, doing one occupation, but I felt I need to do something else. And then for the first time in my life, I really ended up in a depressiveness. And this depressiveness was, yeah, it was a very dark period in my life. Um, I didn't want to socialize. I was at home most of the time. I didn't call my friends because I knew, like, if your friends would ask you, like, "How are you? What are you doing?" What shall I say? I'm home at home, and I'm all the time at home, and I don't know what to do with my life. And 2015, I got into crypto, so I became a trader. I was a day trader, swing trader. It was great for 2 years, but I had no life. So my relationship also almost ended because of that. And I had to make a decision. So I stopped trading and I had to find again something else. So there was a continuous pressure that I built up, and this worked on a conscious level and also on a subconscious level. So when from all my travels, I came back to Holland, and Holland is not really the place. The people that know me, they know I'm not really a fan of Holland. Amsterdam and everything.
I'm not a fan of Germany, so you guys know how it is.
So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm back here. What am I going to do? And then I rolled in to a totally different branch, and it was with cosmetics. We were doing hair transplants. Now, that was a big change for me because going from a freelancer back to an office after 18 years was a very big step. And not working from 9 to 5 or working from 10 to 7, 10 to 8 sometimes. But I have to say we had a great team. We were like a family. We were tearing the market apart, like in Holland, but also internationally.
So you can say all in all, it doesn't matter what you did, you were always successful.
Yeah.
But
lacking health. Like you're just going and going and going and going, and you put one carrot in front of you, and then you replace it with another carrot, and it's great. It's beautiful if you can do many things in life, but sometimes we just have to look inside what we really love to do, where how we resonate, right? Because we need to understand that yes, we can manifest a lot of things, but we also can manifest health, and maintain health. And the problem is that before you get sick, you do not realize what you have. So when I ended this depression, I was in this depression for, I think, like 3 years while I was doing my work at the company. And in those 3 years, I was a different guy. I didn't even recognize myself. Even my relationship, we broke up. So that made it a little bit more difficult, of course.
And even what you say right now is a very important part of this year, I think, because your physical health is directly connected to your emotional health and your mental health. And if one is struggling, that's why we also always say body, mind, soul connection. Yeah, if one is struggling, the rest have a problem probably too, or can get one. So that was the same situation when we met. We met actually through friends and social media as well. And when I got so sick, beginning of the year, you were the one helping me with like all the tips that you had around health and what I could do and how to like become stronger from the inside out, mentally, physically, and all the other things, which we're gonna tell you today. What we have as a recommendation for you guys if you struggle with these things as well. But I think a lot of people have that. They just function and they work and work and they are in these red races and they do it and they just, they function somehow like a little ant in the part of the system. But then one moment happens, for example, a breakup or somebody in your family dies or gets sick or like something from the outside happens. You lose your job, whatever. And then everything goes to shit. And then a lot of people get sick and have like really bad symptoms and struggling with a lot. And that's what I experience when I talk to people. That's always the same thing. Like it's just a little thing that comes on top and then boom, it explodes.
Exactly. So most of the time we need a traumatic experience in order to trigger it. And because when you are already in a depression and something happens, like you don't know what to do in life or your relationship ends or whatever. For me personally, I knew like, okay, I have to get out of this environment. So I basically sold everything that I had and not thinking about I'm going to escape, but now I'm going to be free and I'm going to work on myself again. But exactly when I had that moment of now I'm leaving, that's when I got really sick. So I had, I don't know, it's too much to tell you what I had, but I had like, I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. I was diagnosed with cytomegalovirus, all kinds of things that I never heard of.
What is Lyme? Again, it's a chronic disease not being said to be healed?
No, Lyme disease, according to Western medicine, is an autoimmune disease.
Autoimmune disease.
Yes, autoimmune, infectious disease as well. And it's a name for 3 different types of bacteria: Borrelia, Bartonella, Babesia. These are co-infections, so they work together. Now, the problem is that a lot of people do not understand that it's not specifically the bacteria that is causing the problem. And I had to find this out by myself because I was going from one specialist to another.
Oh yeah, I know how that feels like. Maybe you guys can relate to that if you go from one doctor to another and they all tell you, yeah, well, we cannot find anything or we don't know what it is and whatever. And then your symptoms are still there. So you need to find a way to help yourself because otherwise you still keep on going with these symptoms. And if they're very bad, like headaches and muscle spasms and not being able to sleep, anxiety, whatever, there are so many symptoms, then you can either say, okay, well, that's it, my life is gone, or you have to find another way and another solution, and that can be alternative medicine or natural ways.
Yeah, and like you said, you're going to many specialists, right? Because you're looking for an answer. Because when you're sick, the first thing you want to do is you want to be healed. That's your main problem. You don't have any other problems in life. All the other problems, 99 issues, they become like nothing. But thankfully, I was already a little bit into alternative healing. So I was trying acupuncture. I was doing Wim Hof method. I was doing the breathing. I was doing the ice bathing, everything. And everything helped just a little bit. But I noticed like this is something very severe. It's not only something physical, but it's also something mental. So I really need to change my mindset. And you need to understand as well, like when you're getting sick, it's not the momentum, it's not the mindset that you have at that moment. It's the mindset that you had for many months or many years. And the body is reacting to. So the body always follows up what the mind is thinking, right? So
that's an important one. Can you repeat that sentence one more time for the people?
The body always follows what the mind is thinking. So it's connected with each other. It's very simple. So you really have to select your thoughts carefully. So a lot of people are talking about manifestation and how to direct your thought, desire, intent. Yeah, that's all good. But what about your health, right? What about manifesting a good health for yourself that you can function properly, not just for the following year, but for the following decennia, the years to come until you're like 60, 70, 80, right? So you have to change that mindset. So you have to think every day that you wake up, not positive. I'm not talking about thinking positive because that's very broad, but keep your consciousness levels high. So every thought should be a thought like based from love, gratitude, joyfulness. So this is what I did is, instead of accepting that I'm sick, I was every day telling myself I feel great. I started to smile. I started to, even though it was not like that, and sometimes you have a little doubt, like, what am I doing? This is not work. This is crazy, because I feel so bad. I couldn't get out of bed. I had pain everywhere, which we call fibromyalgia. So it was traveling inside my body. I had tics. I had brain fog. I couldn't.
That's something a lot of people have. Brain fog is a big one, I think.
I couldn't find the right words to talk, right? So yeah, a lot of problems, and then
you changed your mindset at the first, and what followed after, because you were already like super drawn to all these alternative medicines as well. But some things really changed your life, right? What was that? Like how did it?
Two things actually. Yeah. I had this book that I got from a good friend of mine in Holland like 7 years ago. And this book was on my bookshelf for like years and years and years. And I was really like laying in bed, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I saw the book, and I'm like, you know what, let's just read something. And as I'm going through the pages, I'm reading about all the things that I'm actually having and how he's debunking the whole system.
What book was it? And it was talking about your symptoms, or?
It was the book written by Anthony Williams called The Medical Medium. And for sure, a couple of you already know it. But this book really changed my life.
Mine too. Thanks to Laszlo who brought it to me. Yeah.
So it's a very powerful book because it tells you exactly how sickness evolves, but also what the real causes of illness.
And what is the real cause of illness?
Mostly pathogens. So
like
we're talking
viruses,
about bacteria, parasites, fungi.
Maybe you guys know the EBV virus. It's called like that. Epstein-Barr virus, who is like the cause of, or is said to be a cause of many diseases.
Yes. Yeah. So what the audience needs to know is, like, for sure, there's somebody in the audience who had, like, back in the days, a mononucleosis, Huiber disease, or chronic fatigue syndrome, always tired, or something with the thyroid. Or
thyroid problems is also what I had. So here,
thyroid problems, or if you go even more severe, Lyme disease, multiple sclerosis, etc. These illnesses, they come from pathogens. Okay, and one of the pathogens that causes a lot of problems is the Epstein-Barr virus, EBV. But there are like 60 strains of them. So when I was young, I already had mononucleosis. I had all kinds of problems, ear infections and everything. Thank God nothing with my thyroid, but I started to develop tinnitus and Lyme. Now, Lyme, like I said, is based on bacteria. But when you have a virus and the virus dies off, there is what we call a neurotoxin. And these neurotoxins are even more dangerous than the virus itself, because what they can do is they travel through the body and they attack, for example, the nervus vagus. The nervus vagus is a nerve that is going all the way from your brainstem all the way down next to your spine. So when it attacks the nervus vagus becomes inflamed. And that's why we start to have these weird sensations all over our body. But this is one of the last stages of EBV. But then we have herpes viruses. We have hepatitis viruses.
Yes, a lot of people have either or either many of them or all together. So that can also cause in the combination of each other a lot of shit, right?
Exactly. So we need to know, how do these viruses and bacteria survive in our body? Well, one of the things is nutrition. So we need to understand that gluten and lactose are not really beneficial. They feed viruses, they feed bacteria. So if you cut those two out, you already win a lot. If you have soya, if you cut soya and corn, it's also not the best. Then you have already 4 things that you cut out of the system.
or very bad meat that is like
Yeah.
very like trashy from the supermarket and pig and whatever.
Well, here's the thing, like with meat, like I'm vegan, so I don't eat meat. There was a time that sometimes I had difficulties with it, but now I'm like really clean. But the reason that I don't eat meat is because animal fats, they make your blood thicker. So when you read his books, you will understand that all illnesses come from the liver. So the liver is holding all those pathogens together. But when your blood becomes thicker, mostly because of animal fats, thick blood means less oxygen. Less oxygen means more acidity. More acidity means more pathogens. Okay. So they can grow freely. And when your blood is thinner, so when you are vegan, you eat a lot of fruits, you eat a lot of vegetables, sweet potato, brown rice, other crucifers, etc. Your blood will become thinner, and you will also see that your liver is going to reestablish its own health. So
therefore, the celery juice is something important, right?
that's
when
why
when I got so sick, I can't tell you guys because maybe I give you a little introduction into my health story from January. So I always like try to eat healthy and do movement, yoga, dancing, whatever. So I always focused on that. And then yeah, in January after a very hard breakup that I had in December, and then I did ayahuasca and many other things to like really get to the core of my problem, so to say. I had to struggle with a virus that came my way in January in Germany. And that virus caused a lot of stuff in my body. And in the end, my thyroid went from an underfunction to a like overfunction. And then the doctors found out, yeah, Miss Friedel, you have a good tumor in your brain as well that maybe has an impact on your hormone system, and everything went into chaos. So I was cramping, I had nervous tics, anxiety, like everything you cannot even imagine. And it was a horrible time. And at that time, I was so desperate because no doctor could help me. I was trying to like find a solution or find somebody helping me. So I was just posting, hey, this is how I feel. I feel like this. Maybe somebody can help me. Maybe somebody knows something, whatever. I don't even remember what I posted. And then you came and said, hey, did you read this book? Check it out. Check it out. You need to hear your theory. And I'm like, okay, I check it out. And in the end, you told me, make a celery juice every morning, make your lemon shot in the morning, etc. So I got a protocol that big, what I need to do, thousands of voice messages. But in the end, I did it. And it was really, really helpful. And I'm sitting here, not completely healed, but better than before, way better.
Yeah, I think way better.
Way better, yeah.
No, like Francie said, I saw her post, and you know, people that I have in my list, if I see that they're going through some difficulties and I see resemblance, I see that they're going through similar things that I've been through, then I just drop a little bombshell and I say like, hey, you got to do this, and it's going to be fine. Don't get stressed out. But it's hard. It's hard not to get stressed out, because when you feel these things, in your case, you were very anxious. Huh? You had these.
I'm sort of getting crazy because the doctors told me, yeah, on the paper you have nothing. Your blood is okay. This is okay. This is okay. I'm like, that cannot be. So I was running around like an idiot, thinking I'm going crazy. And that is not a really nice feeling, I can tell you, because then you really doubt yourself. And if you start doubting yourself, you don't know what's reality anymore. And then you have a problem. On top to all the other bad symptoms that I had.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you have to start with mindset, right? Because you have to calm yourself down, because the when you feel sick, what we do, we go on Google. I'm gonna check. Hey, what do I have? Oh, maybe I have a tumor. Maybe I have a cancer. That's it. You know, because you cannot find the answer, and then sometimes you go to a doctor, and even the doctor goes on Google. So it's very tough. So first, what you need to understand, what everybody needs to understand, your mind can heal you. Okay, so your body.
There also, you guys, check out Dr. Joe Dispenza. That is also very helpful to check out if you don't know him yet. And every person who's working with like all these mental reprogramming, because all the thoughts that you have are coming, or some of them at least come from conditioning, from old trauma, from old behavior patterns, and that can be resolved. It takes a while, it takes some time, but it's worth it to look at it. And if you want to understand health from a holistic aspect, then you cannot just look at the symptoms that your body is having. You also have to look on the symptoms where they're actually coming from. And then you realize, that's what I learned, that also emotions can trigger physical symptoms as well, and that it's all connected and together. And if you, for example, have whatever, like a problem in your liver, that is maybe a sign for like you're angry or you're sad, that energy is stuck somewhere where it doesn't belong. And a lot of people swallow a lot of shit, for example, and they don't speak their truth. So they have problems with the theory, they have problems with the neck, they have problems with like the throat, something like that. So that's like the, how do you call this? Somatic emotion, somatic experience, whatever. Check it out. Where did we end up? So we end up actually at the celery juice. So
no, that the mind is really connected with the body. Okay. And the problem is that we tend to change when the problem occurs. So that's when the teacher comes. Okay. So your illness is nothing more than a teacher. It's teaching you the hard way. So I try to help people not to get to this point. But unfortunately, it's not always possible. So people need to experience for themselves.
Yeah, and there we go. And then we said today we're going to talk about how to heal yourself and how to end up suffering. So first step is like to really look deep inside of your mental patterns and your way of thinking, but not on a superficial level, like, change your mindset to the positive. No, that's just too much on the surface. It needs to be more down. How can I say?
Well, it starts with consistency. Okay. So sometimes we don't know what we want to do, but at least be consistent in your life. For example, what I do is I wake up, you start with the bed, you fix your bed. And then
like a routine.
Like a routine. Yeah. Like certain routines need to be implemented. Then you make your lemon juice, you make your celery juice, you make your heavy metal detox smoothie, or you make some gluten-free oatmeal for yourself.
If anybody of you guys wants to know more about these things, check that book. What we said already, you can always write Leslie, you can always write me if you have more questions, because we cannot put everything into this life today, what we know, what we discovered in the last weeks, months, years. So it would like explode the love frame here, but yeah.
Yeah. So this with consistency, daily consistency is very important, I think. So you have your mindset in the right place. Have your, you be grateful. Gratitude is very important. Find things that you really love to do. Give it time. Don't put pressure. It's not like I need to find a purpose. It's very difficult to just be in life. Just be. Like we call us human beings, but not everybody is being. Right. So we have to go back to the core.
And it's a practice to be in the present. That's what I needed to learn as well, because I constantly were in the past or in the future. So I'm a creator. I always was like trying to find out what can I create in the future? What next project? What next product? What next? And if I was not there, then I was like, let's work on my past, like on all the traumas that I had and rewrite the story and see what did I do wrong. And like reminiscing and trying to be back in memory and like suffering from all the shit that happened in the past, still in my present. That was a huge thing when I changed that to be more in the present. And that's a practice every day. With yoga, with meditation, with dancing, but also by just having a nice talk with you, for example, right now, and be here with you and not like thinking already, what do I need to do tomorrow or another day?
Yeah. And what is important as well, like money, the finances, right? We used to think that we need to have a lot of money, and it's nice to have money. It gives you a certain freedom, but it doesn't give you this freedom. So this freedom is very difficult to get. It takes daily practice. You have to practice this muscle. And when you come to realize this, what real freedom is, you start to move differently. When you start to realize your own worth, all the things you've been through, all the damage that has been done, It's not about blaming somebody. You never point a finger to somebody because you always have to point three at yourself. You are creating the story. You are creating the life around you, and you can change everything. This is how I believe, what I believe in. You can change everything that you want internally and externally. Now, going back to health, I would say like definitely nutrition, mindset, but that wasn't really enough for me for the long term. So I lost my symptoms for like 70, 80%, which is a lot, but it took me like more than a year. And then I came to Mexico. I'm like, okay, it's time to.
It's always a good way of feeling. Just come to Mexico or to Ibiza, and the country will do it work on its own.
The reason why I came to Mexico is because I needed the sun, I needed nature, I needed jungle, I needed beach, salty water,
and a good environment of people. Like
yes.
The people you surround yourself with, that has a lot of different impact.
And good food. And food, I'm talking because I'm vegan, so fruits are very important for me.
Yeah, the fruits here, fruits and veggies here, they taste completely different. Like in Europe, they taste wholeheartedly. Like I cannot even
very juicy.
It's like, you know, this is good for my body, this is healthy, and such a difference than going in a supermarket in Germany, for example, where it tastes like nothing, where it's like a lot of pesticide and bullshit on it. And yeah,
that's also something you need to take care of, like exactly what you eat. Like in the States, it's more complicated because there's a lot of GMOs, so it's less in Europe. But yeah, you need to take care of that. But despite it all, you know, I wasn't 100% recovered, but I was like, okay, I need to have this time for myself. So I came to Mexico, and I started to feel better and better and better. And I noticed, like, you know what? Sometimes we can eat gluten, or sometimes we can do this. Sometimes it's okay. And then I had a return of all my symptoms, and I was again tired every day. And then a friend of mine told me, like, Les, why don't you go to this guy? His name is Fernando. Go to that guy, and he's gonna fix you. He does biomagnetic pair therapy.
Now it's a big one. People listen to this man. What he's gonna tell you, you will be impressed.
Yeah, and biomagnetic pair therapy. What is that? He's using magnets. He's putting the magnets on your body, and all your problems will soon be less or just disappear. Like, you know what? I'm an alternative guy. You know, I love these things, so why not? Have a look. So I went, met Fernando.
Shout out.
Super nice guy. I will show, yeah. Super nice guy. And he said, like, well, lay down, Laszlo, and we're going to check what you have. And he did a scanning. Mm-hmm. And after 30, 40 minutes laying there on the bench, he said, like, okay, I found this, this, and this, just a couple of things. And he found exactly the three things that they found in your city in Augsburg, in Germany, in a clinic without doing a blood test. And I was really amazed by that. And I was like, okay, I said, Fernando, but listen, I'm having these problems for a year. So when somebody tells me, like, hey, I took it away, that's a big statement, right? So I can be skeptical and
with only these little things, especially. So. Doesn't look that special, but it is. People can tell you.
And then, long story short, my symptoms were totally gone, not immediately, but it took like approximately 2 weeks. And then I had a salmonella infection. I don't know how, maybe cross-contamination. I went back to him. He did the scan. He said it's salmonella, and he took it away in 30 minutes. And that's when I realized this is what I want to do. Because my whole life, I was always, you know, I had these little things, and I was into acupuncture. I was into Qigong. As you know, I did Qigong classes, Reiki, and everything. But this really changed my life. And I was like, I'm going to study it. I'm going to the institute. I'm going to study. I get all my papers, and I'm going to start my clinic and
learn a bunch of Latin words.
Learn a bunch of them. We'll learn all the viruses, all the pathogens. And yeah, and I started to do the treatments. I started to buy the magnets. I will explain you shortly.
Maybe you guys don't even heard about this yet, but it's actually very something very special, and it's connected to like the atoms and the.
It's connected. Well,
working.
I will show people at home first. Like, it's not like a magnet that you put on the on the fridge. Okay, so it's not like these are very strong magnets. These are neodymium magnets. And these are ferrite magnets. Okay, these are way stronger. So these are 5,000 Gauss. Okay, Gauss is the way we measure the magnets, and these ones are only 1,000. You need to have at least 1,000 Gauss to change the potential of hydrogen inside the body. What we need to understand is that pathogens, they thrive in acidity or alkalinity.
What does that mean in easier words? Like if you have a virus, they cannot survive because of the magnets, or how's it going to go?
When you have a virus thrives in acidity.
What is it?
Acidic environment. So you have the pH scale from 1 to 14, basically. Everything above 10 is high alkaline. Everything above 9, actually. And everything under 6 is very acidic. So when somebody has cancer, then most of the time you have 2, 3, or 4 acidity level.
Okay.
When somebody has streptococcus, or staphylococcus, the bacteria, they have a high alkalinity. So we used to think like when we pee on a little stick and we see like, oh, I'm good. I'm 6. My alkaline is 6. Every organ has a different alkaline.
Okay.
So your liver is different than your spleen. Your spleen is.
This is why you use different magnets then?
No, it's not the different magnets. The positioning is important.
Okay.
So, for example, you had tremors. Yeah, you have muscle spasms.
Yeah.
So when somebody has muscle spasms, I directly know that we need to treat the nervous vagus and we need to treat the sympathetic nervous system and the kidneys. So
that's what we did.
These are my priorities. So I put these big magnets on the kidney. On the left side, I put a positive, and on the right side, I put a negative. So biomagnetic paratherapy is actually just a set of charges with opposite polarities, and they identify the pathogen. Now, this is very helpful when people have chronic diseases, autoimmune diseases, infectious diseases, tumors, poisoning, dysfunctions, or even mental diseases or metabolic diseases.
So that is a technique or a therapy that can help with all the things that you said right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So if anybody of you guys are watching right now and you see this and maybe you're struggling with your health or you know somebody struggling with health and the doctors cannot really help or cannot totally cure it or cannot really know what is going on, maybe that could be something, right?
Yeah. Well, I always say I have to say first find out with your doctor what it is. If they cannot find anything, then I would say try to find a biomagnetic paratherapist in your city or maybe another city in Germany close by to do several treatments.
Are there any a network of where people can find good ones or something? Because not everybody can come to visit you. I was lucky, but what do people do if they cannot meet you in person?
Well, the thing is, we have to go back in history. Biomagnetic paratherapy, magnets has been used thousands and thousands of years ago by the Egyptians, by the Greeks, and they use this for healing. So these are actually healing stones. So if I put them together, they attract each other and now they push each other away. So there is a power between the two opposite polarities that it's not visible for the eye, but it penetrates the skin, it penetrates the tissue, the organ, everything. So it changes the pH. And where did I want to?
Just watch the time.
Watch the time. So what was the question? Sorry.
How do we use the magnet? No, if anybody wants to find somebody that could do that, how? Can they just write you and you know people, or is there a network?
They can write me and I can check in the network who lives in Germany, who's in Germany, because I'm in a network of therapists in France, in the States, in Australia, but in Germany at the moment, there's a huge list. I can always check, but definitely go there and see it for yourself. What is very important after a session is to change your toothbrush, stop eating red meat for a month because red meat changes the acidity inside the body, inside the intestines, because it takes a long time to digest. White meat and fish, I would say like once, twice a week. And
Okay.
the best thing would be like a lot of fruits.
How is that connected with the frequencies? Because you have to know or understand that it was not only him placing magnets on me, it was more like a whole thing. It goes an hour, right? And then you have this high frequency music. How is that connected with the magnets? Like, why do we do this?
No, it's more for the relaxation, but also for the chakras, because what it does, it goes from the root, solar plexus, throat, everything, heart chakra. So it gives certain frequencies that you get more relaxed, and it aligns them a little bit more combined with the magnets. So that's what I do, and with the tuning fork on your.
I read a really nice quote these days. It was something like the future of medicine is gonna be connected or is about frequencies.
Yeah.
And that means frequency through sound healing, for example. They can be frequency with the music that you were using, with that frequency music. But also for me personally, it's also yoga, dancing, meditation, because a lot of people use high frequency music there as well. And you have it during the biomagnetics as well, which is frequency work, right?
It is. It's actually bioelectric, biomagnetic. Okay. So pathogens are frequency. Okay. Our thoughts are frequency. So when you start to think negative thoughts, envy, jealousy, anger, and all these things, you need to become aware of these thoughts. It's very, very important. Be aware of them, acknowledge them, let them go, and change them. What I call reframe these thoughts into something positive.
Very interesting, because I read something as well these days about how important it is to feel every emotion and then let it go, and not just store it somewhere in the body because you don't want to feel it, or you tell yourself that's a shit thought, that's a negative emotion, I don't want to feel it, and then it gets a part of you. But if you feel it through and you let the emotion be, like if you're sad, be sad and cry. If you're angry, scream out loud, whatever you want to do. And then it flows through to your system without being held.
That's true. But the thing is, like, a lot of people get stuck in their emotion. Okay. So,
that is what happened to me.
Yeah. So it's okay to be angry. Use it as a sign, like, okay, it's a teacher. That's fine. You are here, but now it's time to go. So it's just teaching you how to see certain things, like becoming aware. Because we get angry at ourselves, or we can get angry at other people, but at the same time, it's just like a beacon, okay? And you have to really stay focused on these consciousness levels. If you do not do that, you are going to invite pathogens inside your system, reactivate. You already might have them, but they're not active, and you activate them in your system. And these pathogens can come from sexual transmitted diseases, because we used to think of chlamydia or gonorrhea or syphilis, as a STD. But I don't want to scare people. There are way more things that you can get when you have sex with somebody. You can get EBV, you can get streptococcus, you can get cytomegalovirus, you can get rhinovirus, adenovirus. There are many viruses, and these viruses, they stay inside your system because your immune system is strong, so it holds them down. But when you're stressed, when you're living the whole day, you're working hard, you're not eating properly, so there's not enough glucose in your body. Your adrenals are creating a lot of adrenaline, because this adrenaline, what we need to understand, is harmful for the body. And the liver knows that. So the liver sucks up this adrenaline, sucks it up, but it becomes sluggish afterwards. So when your liver becomes slower, that's when problems occur, because it cannot detain all the pathogens anymore. And it releases pathogens inside the system. They can go to your heart, they can go to the brain, and therefore the liver reacts with enzymes. So
if your mind is exploding right now like it is mine, I do this now for some weeks already, and I get all these information, and I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. Thank you so much for all your wisdom. This is really unbelievable.
you're welcome.
You know, it's very interesting because what you said is obvious in my personal life. I don't know if you guys experience that as well. So, for example, if I go to Germany and I have a lot of like negative emotions connected to Germany, I oftentimes get sick, and I wondered why is that? And it's not just because the weather is shit and the food is not the best. It has also to do with my conditioning, my traumatic experience that happened there, but also how I feel when I go there, and that makes something with me, and then I'm more, how you say, anfällig in English.
Anfällig.
Sometimes we have our Dutch, German, English moments, whatever. Yeah, you get more like easy food, so to say, for the viruses. So it's easy. Yeah, I victim. It's easy for the virus to enter your system if you're emotionally weak or if you're going through something. So that is why people, when they're high, like have problems with their emotions, whatever, they're stressed, then the virus can enter more easy or affect more, right?
Well, most of the time the virus is already there, actually.
Mm-hmm. But
it's just a virus can't stay dormant. What people need to understand is once you have a virus, you can never get it out of your system. Okay, so it stays in your system for the rest of your life, and and that's fine. The most important thing is to keep the virus dormant. Okay, so that the virus goes back to sleep and doesn't cause any harm. But then again, you need to take care of your mindset. You need to take care of your health continuously. Like every day, I'm very aware of what I do, what I think,
yes,
what I
an
eat.
everyday job, actually.
Yes,
And that is something I want to give you people as well, because I always thought, yeah, well, if I eat pizza and chips every day, and then once a day I eat something healthy and one smoothie is enough, I thought already I'm healthy then, because that's what people think is good for them in the normal way of thinking. I thought that it's enough, but it was not enough. And for me, it became my biggest and first priority to eat healthy, to have like a routine, to do my practice, yoga, dancing, whatever I need to do that makes me feel good, one thing, but also from the inside out to recharge my batteries, to refuel my body. So I'm more strong when something from the outside happens in my life as well. And it's not enough to go 20 minutes into a gym and work out a little bit and then treat your body like shit every day. It's not enough. So when you realize that this is your temple and that is something that, yeah, is causing longevity if you treat it well. And yeah, that's the base of everything. You cannot be successful. You cannot make a lot of money if you're struggling mentally, if you're struggling physically. So if you're not healthy, there is no basement. There is no foundation for all the rest of the things you want to do.
Well, it's like a ticking bomb. Like I know people that they don't care about their health at all, and they're very successful in life.
Yeah.
And they're going like this for years and years, for 10, 20, 30 years, and then it can happen.
Yeah.
And then there's a
doesn't have to, but for a lot of people that I know that were very successful, they come to a point either they get burnout or depression, like the mental aspect of it, or they have a physical problem. So yeah, you can have this red race of like working, hustling, and going crazy and not focusing on your health until something happens, or you're smart enough to realize that doesn't feel right in alignment for me. I want to act before the actual problem can occur, right?
But what is also important to state, act before it happens, but we need to realize these things. But what is important to note is that what we just said, the medical medium and the magnets, this worked for me. Yeah. This worked for Francie. This worked for many.
Doesn't have to work for you.
Maybe for you, you're going to say like, hey, I prefer psychedelics. I go to Mexico and I'm going to do ayahuasca. And I know people that found their answers in ayahuasca, and that's also
or other plant medicine things, or Reiki, or there's so many things. Either spiritual practices, physical practices. Some people go to the gym every day, which would not be the same for me, but they feel more like released after, and then they deal with their things there. just find your way of dealing with your health and your mental topics as well. And maybe today we could give you some new aspects or new little information pieces that can in the end help you. And that's why we did it.
Exactly. So for all the people that didn't know biomagnetic pair therapy, I'm starting to upload all the sessions that I've been doing for the past months, because I waited with this on purposely. So you can keep an eye on it, so you will have a better
content.
more content, so you will be more aware of what I'm really doing. And I like it when the people give their own opinion and review, and that it's not coming from my mouth but from their experience.
Yeah. And it's crazy. If I see all these videos from the people that you helped already, it doesn't really matter what they have, but a lot of them say, "Oh my God, this changed my life," or
the filter.
"Oh, I changed the filter. What did I do now?" Okay, now it's better. Okay. Yeah, guys. So that was just a little introduction to biomagnetic therapy, nutritional aspects as well, how we both help ourselves to heal. And yeah, we're actually
Summary.
yeah, a little summary. We could proceed for ages because you see we have a lot to talk, and we do always with each other. So yeah. Maybe in the future we're gonna create something nice for you guys as well. Maybe a workshop or can even be a retreat. We're already speaking about that one.
Talk about retreat.
So whoever is interested in things like that, reach out to us, and then we see what we can do for you guys. And yeah, coming from different perspectives, from financial freedom, location dependence, time flexibility, all the freedom stuff that we talked before, but also all the health aspects about heal from the inside out.
Exactly.
If anybody has questions, just write us. I think that's the better thing to do, because it's information that you might not want to share in public here with us, and you can do it in a private message. We're going to upload this on my podcast as well, and maybe also some little pieces as a reel or in the story.
Yeah.
You want to see.
Definitely.
So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful, and I know probably a lot of parts blew your mind. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, speak soon.
Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.